How many of you have ever been hungry but there was no food in your fridge? I'm willing to bet the answer is all of you. And as it becomes easier and easier to order food online or go through a drive-through or just get takeout over and over again, I think we get a lot more complacent on how we fill our stomachs and how we fill our fridges. Now, I get that we all get hungry even when there's no food in the fridge, and because of its convenience, we'll run back to all that stuff, but we we just keep eating food with no actual substance. I'm not an expert on the science of dietary needs or anything by any means, but I have studied for this. So, we all hate it when there's no food in the fridge, and we feel like there's no time to cook or go get groceries to cook because we don't have any groceries. So, I'm going to speak on this and try to show us how we can eat better and stop eating all those overprocessed foods. With all that, I'd like to tell a little story. So, it's dinner time, and there is nothing to eat in your fridge. You open the fridge, and there, all that's in there is a half-empty ketchup bottle and some shredded cheese. So, obviously, now you go to your pantry, and you open the pantry, and there's nothing in there either. Because of stuff like this, we rely on takeout more and more. Takeout like this. According to the New York Times, the average American will spend over $70,000 on takeout in their entire life. That is a lot of money. For some people, that is a whole year's wage that we spend only on takeout, on food that is not very good for us. And a lot of people wind up getting guilt from things such as fries, pizza, and burgers, which are some of the biggest selling takeout items. So there's also a massive difference in eating out and groceries from the just 20 years ago. The number has increased from 75-25 to almost 50-50, and that is coming from SoFi. So, we have no food and takeout makes us feel bad, but why? Why do we keep getting takeout then? Why do we have no food? Well, the average American does not feel like they have time to cook or to shop. So the convenience of simply going back to the same fast food joints, going through a drive-through, taking it home after a long day of work, long day of studying, it's just so much easier and it feels so much less stressful on us to go to that. Sometimes, even if we do go to the grocery store, instead of getting fresh produce or flour to bake some bread or something, we just grab what are called fresh prepared meals, like a frozen lasagna or something. But really, the vast majority of these here, Alfredo and all kinds of things, most of those have a ton of sugars in them and saturated fats, and none of that is good for us. And I have that on a good word from Jessica Brousseau, who has a master's in science of food policy and applied nutrition from Tufts University. So we eat that stuff, and it's not even close to being good for us. But it's cheaper, right? Well, actually, expenses for eating all of this stuff really does add up. You see a cheaper price for something at like McDonald's, like you buy off the dollar menu or whatever, and it's just a couple dollars to fill me up here, a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there. Oh, there's a dollar, and there's another dollar, but those dollars quickly add up, and then you're spending a whole ton of money on that stuff. And it doesn't just wear on your wallet, it obviously wears down your body. You get more exhausted because of all the bad stuff that you're eating. A good diet always brings up the body rather than bringing it down. So we're running to fast food, and we're running to all those people to for convenience or whatever, so we don't have to cook our food. And according to Washington Post, it's so bad that we are spending 40 minutes less in front of a stove today in the current times than we did 40 years ago in the 70s. So we have no food, and all the easy stuff to just buy or whatever is bad for us. So what do? Well, we have a couple options. Obviously, we can just keep doing what we're doing and just keep buying that food and wear down on our bodies, and eventually it'll clog up our arteries, and we'll have a heart attack, or we'll be too tired to do anything else. Or we can take the cheaper and healthier route, and we can go to a grocery store like Hy-Vee here. We can go to a cheaper and healthier. It is cheaper and healthier overall, and it's a better lifestyle. And obviously, some people, they don't feel like they have the time, but you just have to take a few hours out of your week. Just a few hours out of one day of your week. You can go to the grocery store and buy some stuff. And you can always take like your significant other or something like that, your kids, if you have kids, a friend, a roommate, and you can go to the grocery store. You can make it fun, have a good time. If you live with somebody else, you guys can switch who cooks every night and have a good time cooking as well. So obviously sometimes you really don't have the time. Sometimes you're just so incredibly busy that there is nothing that you could do. You can't go to a grocery store. For that, there are things like meal kits, right? There are a lot of meal kits like Blue Apron, HelloFresh, all of those. And they provide those meals that are they're fresh groceries. They're good. They deliver it to your door. You can make plenty of meals out of it. You still have to spend some of the time to cook it, but you don't have to go grocery shopping, at least. I'm sure many of you know these things from YouTube adverts, because I know a lot of YouTubers are sponsored by people like HelloFresh and Blue Apron. And according to a study done by CNET, the price difference between this and groceries is really only $1 to $3, depending on which one you buy. In some cases, if you really want to go higher up, it does come closer to $5 to $10 per serving, but you're paying for convenience most of that time. So it's a little bit it's better than takeout. So there are options even when you're busy on what you can do. And today we have talked about all these things. We've talked about not having any food in your fridge, why we don't have any food, and what we can do about getting food in your fridge that is good and healthier for you than just the same old junk food that we typically recycle through our bodies. There's a lot of poor eating habits in this country, and it costs us a lot more than health. As we've seen, there is a lot of price issues there as well. So hunger is obviously something we all deal with. Oh, I have the empty fridge again. Okay. Hunger is something we all deal with, obviously, but we have to do a better job at doing it. Maybe we deal with it, we cook once or twice a week, and then 3 or 4 times a couple of weeks later, we just slowly get off of all that junk food. We stop doing all that stuff because it is really bad for us. Thank you for listening. That is all I have for today.